During the Monroe administration, which is in the early 1820s, news got to the Americans that the Europeans were attempting to reestablish some colonial control in the Western Hemisphere. Remember that as late as the late 1700s, early 1800s, many European colonies in the Western Hemisphere were throwing off their oppressors. The famous example of this would be Haiti getting rid of the French in their famous slave revolution in 1791. Now, the Monroe Doctrine was an effort by the Americans to try to keep Europeans out of the Western Hemisphere. In fact, you can see here, the Monroe Doctrine was an effort to end European colonialization in the Western Hemisphere. Now, how do we do this? Well, Monroe came out and gave a speech. And in that speech, there's three main parts. There's a couple of more, but the ones that we need to remember is that the United States says no European colonies in the Western Hemisphere. The Europeans should stay out of the Western Hemisphere, and that the United States would take personal offense that they were encroaching on our territory if they did so. And the second part is that they said that U.S. would stay out of European affairs. Okay, so the United States would stay out of European affairs. And the third part is that, the third part is that the United States would not interfere with any current colonies. Now, this is mostly symbolic. The United States did not have the military or naval strength to enforce this Monroe Doctrine at the time. There was some effort to negotiate this with the British, and the British were going to do this as well to help make sure that all of those new colonies would continue to have their trade relationships with Britain. And again, it's mostly symbolic, but it's going to be important throughout the 1800s and the 1900s, and it's going to be used to justify things like keeping the United States out of World War I and World War II until it was absolutely necessary.